What is current electricity? This is not a new terminology. Tumekuwa tukiitumia kuanzia tukiwa secondary level or level. So as I said, any physics definition ni vema kama unataka kupata marks zote uandike qualitative na quantitative, because each of them they have marks. Qualitative the words, na quantitatively formula ambayo inakusaidia upate hicho kitu ambacho umeulizwa. Kama sio formula unaandika angalau hata SI units. So qualitatively, current electricity is the uniform charge passing a unit area per unit time. The uniform charge passing per unit area per unit time. The word uniform here is important because if you consider this is a conductor, under normal conditions there is no current that is passing for one reason. It is because under the kinetic theory we know that always particles of matter are always in random motion. So considering this area of a conductor, if the movement is not uniform, they lead to cancellation of and result to the net charge of 0. Suppose they go here 2 electrons and in the reverse they go 2 electrons, so the net charge here is 0 because they're in random motion. But there must be an electric field. That's why we connect a battery. That battery, the work of that battery is to make sure that these charges move in uniform line, so that we have uniform charge passing per unit area in a given time. So the word uniform here is very important. Quantitatively is just given by differential equation. When you write it in terms of calculus, we write dq dt, which means a particular change in the number of charges per unit time. That's what we call current, and the SI units are amperes. We all know this are amperes. The rule of SI unit is that when you write a symbol, it's just capital letter, so amperes this way, or otherwise when you want to write the whole name, you should start with small letter, ampere, okay, ampere, etc, etc, etc. So common terms that we might encounter katika study yetu, katika lesson yetu ya current electricity, some of them are not new, some of them are new. Resistance, we know that this is an electric force that opposes flow of charge through a conductor. In more technical terms tunasema resistance is the volt required to maintain a current of 1 ampere in a conductor. The volt required to maintain a current of 1 ampere in a conductor. So you can just write a simple expression that I is given by V over R, and it's resistance that you're required to write. So write R is equal to V over I. So it's the volt required to maintain a current of 1 ampere in a conductor. So conductance is actually the reciprocal of resistance. So conductance is just simply 1 over resistance. It's just reciprocal of resistance. Coming to the resistivity, we know that resistivity, this is not a new term also. Or in other words, they call it specific resistance. It's because it specifies more of this resistance, that we know just resistance, that electric force that opposes flow of charge, but this resistivity specify by what length is that resistance offered. For example, I want to give you the definition first, but you have to understand that resistivity is given by resistance times area over length. So if this is 1 and this is 1, then we can define resistivity as the resistance offered by 1 meter of a conductor having a unit cross-sectional area. So the resistance that 1 meter of a conductor can offer, and that conductor having a unit cross-sectional area, that's what we call resistivity. And from here, from our dimensional analysis, we can conclude that our units here are ohm meter. So this is why it is called specific resistance, because it specifies, it is specific to what segment of a conductor, by how much length is that resistance offered. Similarly, conductivity is the reciprocal of resistivity. So resistivity, conductivity, they are related in one is the reciprocal of the other. Conductance and resistance, one is the reciprocal of the other. Similarly, coming to the EMF. The EMF, first, assume you have a circuit. You have a battery connected in an open circuit, okay, in an open circuit, and you hereby connect a voltmeter trying to measure, as if you are trying to measure hii battery ina uwezo kiasi gani, ina voltage kiasi gani. Sasa kuna two things hapa. Unaweza ukapima voltage across hii battery, hii circuit ikiwa open, na unaweza ukapima voltage ya hii battery, hii circuit ikiwa closed, assuming kwamba hapa kuna resistor R, load resistor. Okay, so the circuit can be closed or opened. When the circuit is opened, the voltmeter will usually read the EMF. So when the circuit is open, the voltmeter will actually read the EMF. But when the circuit is closed, the voltmeter will read the voltage. The concept behind is this way, that the EMF is the voltage across terminals of a battery when the cell is connected in an open circuit. Therefore, EMF is the voltage across the terminals of a battery when the battery is not supplying any current to external resistor. Is the voltage across the terminals of a battery, when the battery is not supplying current to any external resistor. External resistor sio lazima iwe hii resistance, hata hizi wire kama zina resistance tukuconnect tu hapa, hii tayari inakuwa sio tena EMF. So EMF lazima iwe direct, ile voltage across the terminals when it is not supplying current to any external resistor, hapo ndo tunaita EMF. While for voltage is just the driving force of current in a circuit, or in other words you can just say terminals, the voltage across the terminals of a battery when the battery is connected to an external resistor. That's the only point that we call this voltage. And again, we know that EMF, this is from O level, we know that EMF is equal to I R plus R. So here, if we simplify further, we have IR plus IR. This we call terminal potential difference. So in questions that will be required to solve, when you see a question that requires you to find terminal potential difference is equal to E minus I times internal resistance, where R is the small r is internal resistance. So I times ER kubwa, the resistance here, is what we call it terminal potential difference. Again, we have current density. Current density is just simply taking the current divided by the cross-sectional area of a conductor. That's the current density given by this SI units. We have passive and active electrical components. Passive electrical component is that electrical component that does not produce any energy in a circuit. It only consumes energy or converts energy into other forms of energy, electrical energy into other forms of energy. While active electrical component itself in a circuit, it produces energy, it produces electrical energy. For example, in this circuit here, this battery is an active electrical component because it is the source of electrical energy in this circuit. While passive components can be the wires, the resistors. They don't produce any energy, they just consume energy from the active electrical component. So it can be a battery active component, can be a battery, can be an accumulator, a generator, anything that produces electrical current. It's active, electrically active. It is active, produces current. So we can now view factors upon which resistance depends. It is found that resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to the length of a conductor. So the higher the length, the greater the resistance. It is also found that it is inverse proportional to the concentration. It's like a pipe. Unavyosukuma maji, kwa mfano kama ingekuwa ni pipe, unavyosukuma maji, ikiwa ili tundu likiwa kubwa, sawa, maji yanapita kirahisi. It means kuna kuwa na resistance kidogo. Lakini tundu unavyozidi kupunguza dogo, unatakiwa utumie nguvu nyingi ili maji yapite kwenye hilo tundu dogo. Ndio maana cross sectional area inakuwa inverse proportional to resistance, kwamba the higher the resistance, the smaller the concentration, the smaller the cross sectional area, while the lower the higher the cross sectional area, the lower the resistance, and vice versa. Again, it is found to depend upon the nature of material. That resistance depends on different type of materials. It's not always a constant value for different materials. We have copper, which has its own resistance. We have iron, which it has its own resistance. Manganese, nichrome, pure silicon, and etc. etc. Each has its own resistance. It also changes with temperature. Resistance changes with temperature. So we shall see what we call electrical coefficient of temperature, temperature coefficient of resistance. Temperature coefficient of resistance. We shall see it later to see how temperature varies with conductor. But we know in conductors, the higher the temperature, the greater the resistance. The temperature is direct proportional to resistance. Maybe we should ask ourselves why. Tumeona previously that to create current lazima electric field ifanye hii motion iwe uniform. Kama unakumbuka nilisisitiza sana maana ya uniform. Lakini unapokuwa unaongeza temperature, unaongeza random motion. According to the kinetic theory, zinaanza kuvibrate randomly. So since you are trying to distort the uniform motion, so you are creating a resistance in the conductor. That's why in conductors temperature varies direct proportional to the resistance. So joining the relations that we have here, resistance is inverse proportional to cross-sectional area, and yet resistance direct proportional to length. So introducing a constant, you introduce a constant, where this constant is what we call resistivity or specific resistance. The symbol is called rho. Is just a constant of proportionality and is non-resistivity or specific resistance of a conductor. Its value depends on the nature of material and temperature. So as you have seen there, that now we can define resistivity from here. When cross-sectional area is 1, as I said earlier, is the resistance offered by 1 meter of length of wire of material having cross-sectional area of 1 meter square, as I said earlier. So for example, the resistivity of copper is 1.7 times 10 power negative 8 ohm meter. It means that if you take copper wire 1 meter long and having a cross-sectional area of 1 meter squared, then the resistance of a copper wire is 1.7 times 10 power negative 8 ohms. That's why we say is the resistance offered by 1 meter of length of wire of material having cross-sectional area of 1 meter squared. So here we have a table for different resistivity values for different materials. So we have copper and its corresponding resistivity similarly to other. The most important materials that you should note here, it's nichrome, and one which is not here is constantan. So you should go and find the resistivity of constantan, which is around 49 times 10 power negative 8. Resistivity of constantan. So you should know this. They will be useful for your practical sessions. We can solve an example that involves resistivity. We have a wire having a mass of 0.45 kilograms possesses a resistance of 0.014 ohms. If the resistivity of material of wire is 1.78 times 10 power negative 8 ohm meters, calculate its length and radius given that the density of material of wire is that much. So here we have these values. So we can let L and R be length and radius of wire respectively, but we know from the resistivity, the expression relating resistivity and resistance, it's that resistance is equal to resistivity times length over area. Again, our question requires us to find the length and the radius. So what we are trying to do is to introduce, always when you're given physics questions, always try to see with the formulas you have, how can you put length, the things that you asked as part of the question. So you have this expression here, you have length, yes, but you are supposed to see now, how am I going to get the radius? So try to evaluate this formula more, and you can find that from the area you can have the radius inside here. Therefore you can simplify this equation further. Now we have radius is equal to pi, and the rho, the resistivity, times length of pi r squared. But we have mass. We can get how can we, because here we have one equation and we have two unknowns. We have one equation and two unknowns, but mathematically, if you have two unknowns, you're supposed to have two equations. If you have one unknown, one equation is enough. If you have three unknowns, then three equations are required. Then it means there must be another equation that is required. So you can see from your data, you are given mass and you are given density. So we know that we can use these values to get the volume, and in the volume we can guess the radius. So in the volume we can also get the radius. So mass is equal to volume times density. So we can see here that the volume, the conductor, we assume is just a cylinder. It's just like a cylinder. The conductor is just like a cylinder. So knowing that, it means that the density of the cylinder is given by pi r squared times length times density, where d is the density, not the diameter. Do not confuse. D is the density, as we have let here. D is the density. So from here we have length and radius again. So we have two equations, we have two unknowns, so our question can be solved. So you just find a way of solving that. Then you can solve for L. As you can see here, they have multiplied equation 1 and 2. So when you multiply, you get R times M, resistivity L pi r squared times pi r squared L times D. Here they are. So from here you can cancel pi and pi, r squared and pi r squared. Then you remain with L squared times density, r times mass. Then from here you can find L, take this here, take resistivity here, find the square root, because from here L is equal to r m over resistivity times d, where d is density, not diameter. So L squared, because L times L, get L squared. So L is given by that, and you get your L is 1.19 meters. And again, we can go back to any of the equations to solve for the radius. For instance, we can go back here to solve for the radius, because from here radius is equal to mass divided by density divided by pi L. So we can use anyhow to just finally solve for 2.84. Here is multiplication. So it is pi times d, because from here you bring pi times d, m divided by pi d. From here we have m, we have r squared is equal to m divided by pi times d times L. So we have pi times d times L. So to get R, find the square root, and that's when we can see we have the mass here 0.45 divided by pi divided by the density and the length that we got here.